And this is also just a stopover so that by 2025, we can actually host the first African country to host World Athletics, the championships. We'll be the first African country, and I believe our bid will be successful. But it is because of all the steps that have gone on previously. It's not that you just wake up in the morning and it happens. Everything has to, you've got to put the work behind it, right? And like I said, we are now going through very difficult times, especially because all these COVID issues have slowed down a lot of the programs and plans that we had. But I am very, very hopeful and I'm very encouraged by the fact that despite all those challenges, if we compare ourselves with many countries, Kenya has fared very well. Not that we have not had our challenges, our difficulties, but we have actually fared far better than most. And I believe that if we continued working together in this spirit, we will do even better. And we will come out of this particular problem even stronger, both economically, but also with very bright prospects for the future.
The elephant in the room in Kenya has been the issue of corruption. And during this, your second term, you came out up front very clearly on the fight against corruption. I'm wondering, as you near the end of your term, when you look back and the status where we are now, what's your view?
I will say that we as a government have done the best that we can. And even if you actually look at the situation as it exists, new cases of corruption these days are few and very far between, if you look at it over the years. The key problem that we have today is not tackling corruption as much as handling the corruption cases that are still pending. And I believe, because this is the only thing that now will prove to the world and to Kenyans that we are serious. Exactly. That our investigative agencies, who are independent, that our judicial fellows, who are also equally independent, will do that which is right to bring these cases that are at conclusion. Because for us, as far as we are concerned, we have definitely put the cases there. If you want, I mean, I don't want to, it's not my department, but I would encourage you, go to both anti-corruption, go to what do they call, DCI, and all the other fellows who are in charge of those agencies. Go see yourself the number of files already before court that are waiting adjudication, right? My hope and my prayer is that these can be adjudicated in the shortest possible time, because the ultimate weapon against ensuring that our fight against corruption succeeds is conviction. And that is out of my hands. That is in the hands of other independent institutions who, as you have seen, you cannot say that I am biased or I am objecting to them. When they rule already against me, they have ruled against my own election. They have ruled twice against something that I have been pushing. So you can't say I'm the one who's holding them back. Tell them, do your job. Kenyans are waiting for you to do your job quickly and bring these. And I'm quite excited because when I watched the new CJ, when she was giving her first statement, when she was sworn in, and she said that was going to be her #1 agenda. I hope and pray for her. Yeah? And I believe many Kenyans are waiting to see whether that promise she made us will be delivered.
You yourself has been accused of weaponizing the war against corruption.
If anybody has a case against, and they can claim and show that I have weaponized or I have used any agency to look after so and so, let them say. All right? All right? In this process, many of you will know from the first time to now, I have lost people very close to me, yeah, who I was forced to ask to step down, right? Okay? Because of the cases that were before them. I have no intention, right? I know what it feels like to be wrongly victimized, like I was done when I was taken to The Hague. I was wrongly victimized, but I stood my ground like I promised, and I said, and I went before them, and I faced my accuser, and I proved, and I was proved innocent. So rather than people try to find this or this or this, I have no such intention. Go to your accuser, go before the courts of law, right? Prove your innocence. If I'm as happy as you are, why should we want an innocent person prosecuted? For what? For what benefit? Yeah? Yeah? Just like you, Ashuri, if you have a case, go take it to court, take the evidence where it's supposed to go, and let the people go ahead with what they need to do. Yeah? But don't always, this is what I'm saying, these short-term political gains, something happens to you, it is because I spoke against the president, the president wants to, my friend, this is not that Kenya of the 80s and 90s, my friend. This is a new Kenya, right? These institutions are independent. These same people are. I may appoint them. They are vetted by the National Assembly. Those powers are not such as they used to be. So let us be practical. Let us be frank. Yeah. Kila mtu abebe mzigo wake. Usiende kuwekelea mwenzako. Wewe kama umekuwa hata mimi nimewekelewa. Yeah? Right? Mimi sikuenda kulia kusema sijui ni nani. Mimi nasema basi nikaenda nikajitetea na nikajiondoa. Sasa hata wewe jamani, badala ya kwenda kutafuta ati ni hii. Kama umesemekana umefanya, siuende uoneshe hujafanya. Yeah? Kwa nini ulete siasa duni?
The balance that your government is making
in
managing this pandemic is that the economy, lives versus the economy and livelihoods.
I will never, just as in the scenario that we were talking about, the country as a whole, when we were talking about political violence and all of those things, I have seen, and I will never do anything that, in my view, will jeopardize the life of a Kenyan. A life of a Kenyan is greater than anything else. Let us withstand the challenges and be alive. We shall overcome those challenges tomorrow. But a life lost today shall never be recovered. So my focus, and it will continue to be my focus, is to ensure that I protect and I safeguard the lives of the people of Kenya. That is the thrust and the core of the oath I took when I swore to take over this office.
Because COVID is a very serious problem.
Yeah.
See what has happened in other places in India and the US and all that. So far I think we have gotten off rather lightly for whatever reason, maybe constitution, maybe we are a lot healthier than we expected. There are two major issues. For us to be able to weather this storm and open our economy and proceed in the way we plan to proceed with our lives, we need
vaccines. Absolutely.
And the vaccines have two issues. One is the supply.
Correct.
But the supply just isn't there. And also maybe the second one being a growing skepticism among certain people towards vaccines. What would you say to those who, where the vaccine is available, they are willing to take it? And what would you say about the question of supply? Are we looking forward to stronger, better supply of vaccines?
I will go this way, and first of all say that my position on that has been very clear, and both as I had the opportunity, being a member of the Bureau of the African Union in the year of COVID. So I was part and parcel, together with my colleagues from DRC, South Africa, Egypt, in how we were working together with Africa CDC and others in this fight against COVID. And for the first time, and this is on record, Africa together has never been more prepared to face a pandemic than we were to face this particular challenge. We had worked it all the way through, including well before vaccines were actually called to be safe. Created the COVAX facility, working with our development partners. But the one thing, and we were ready to roll out vaccines as soon as they became available. We had actually already contracted the Serum Institute of India, right? That was supposed to have been the main supplier, and it was said because they had the largest facility to main supplier of COVAX, which was going to be the instrument of making sure that Africa was on the front line of receiving vaccines as soon as they became available. It is most unfortunate that despite all of that, when vaccines came online, the developed countries exercised what we are unashamedly calling vaccine apartheid. Because despite all the arrangements and agreements that we had in place, vaccine nationalism came into effect. They decided to hoard and to look after themselves and ignore the rest of the world. It was a double blow for us on the African continent, because on top of that, the facility that had been contracted to supply us, India itself, that was part of us, said they were no longer going to be supplying until they supply their own people when they are hit with the second wave. So we were left stranded, right? Despite the fact that we had never been better prepared, despite the fact that we had put our resources, mobilized all the resources that were necessary to begin immediate rollout. So, where are we and where are we going from here? We are still in that fight of ensuring. And we're now looking forward with South Africa now coming on board. We are working on getting our form and fill facility here in Kenya, but South Africa already has theirs on board. We are hopefully now going to start getting a steady supply of our own vaccine, and hopefully we may be a month or 2 months late, but be able to meet our 10 million target of the most vulnerable, which will be a key indicator for us now fully opening up the economy, and we're hoping to achieve that in the shortest possible time. But Mutuma, as you have said, it is based on availability. Everything that we're getting, we are pushing out. Yeah? And we have said vaccine is going to be free because we want to ensure that there is no element or capacity of people taking advantage of this shortfall, yeah, for making deals here and there. Vaccines will be made available to all our citizens across board freely. I think the second point that you raised, Mutuma, is about those who are hesitant. We are not going to force anybody. It will be your decision whether you want to take or not. But I truly would encourage, especially those who are in that most vulnerable bracket, those 50 or even 45 and above, those with comorbidities, that it is essential that you be vaccinated. And I will appeal to all those. I think we have now enough research done, yeah, that has actually proved that these vaccines are actually helping as opposed to harming, right? And therefore, I really call upon my fellow Kenyans, as the vaccines become available, and I reiterate again, especially especially for that more vulnerable group, it is important, yeah, that we trust the science and we get vaccinated, because available evidence is showing that those who are vaccinated are resisting and are surviving better, especially within that bracket, than those who remain unvaccinated. And you can even see that in some of these countries that are hoarding, instead of, they're already even talking about vaccinating children and others. Right? This is, like I'm saying, we will not force anybody, Mutoma. Right? But